The state of Georgia does not have to execute Troy Davis, and it should not execute Troy Davis. There is one fail-safe built into the system that still exists, and that's the clemency process. The judicial system has not provided Troy Davis with relief in this case, despite the substantial doubts about the accuracy of the conviction.
The procedural bars that prevent courts sometimes from getting to what's right. The Georgia Board of Pardons and Paroles is not bound by those procedural bars. So they can sort of get to the issue of, is this the right thing to do?
Because I find this conviction and this sentence so troubling, what I would like to see the parole board do is not only exercise the power of clemency to set aside the death penalty. I think that is an absolute moral and legal necessity in this case, if for no other reason that it is so terribly unfair to the jurors themselves to allow this death penalty to proceed when the evidence on which they relied has now been disproved, and some of it withdrawn by the state itself.
They can consider things that will be irrelevant to a court, such as whether a defendant is remorseful or whether a defendant has done so, really exemplary things in prison. No court would care about any of that. But the Board of Pardons and Paroles can care and has cared. And in Troy Davis's case, the Board of Pardons and Paroles can consider the fact that so many of these witnesses have recanted, the problems with forensic science in the case, the problems with eyewitness testimony, the problems with snitch testimony.
I think the parole board should listen to the witnesses. Many of the critical witnesses were teenagers in this tension-fraught, fear-filled atmosphere back in 1989 in Savannah. If they were believable enough then to allow them to testify and support a verdict of murder and a death penalty, they should be believable now as mature adults who are coming forward and saying, we were frightened, terrified young men, and we did what we thought the police wanted us to do. And it has haunted us for 20 years.
If Troy Davis's execution is allowed to go forward, I think it would leave a black eye on the American system of justice, but also the Georgia system of justice. I think people around the world are watching this case. They're waiting to see what this country and this state are going to do. I think the Georgia Board of Pardons and Paroles should commute Troy Davis's sentence. I'm disturbed at the idea that we would execute someone, we would take his life with all of these problems and all of these questions still lingering.
The Board of Pardons and Paroles still has an opportunity to stop this execution from occurring, and that's what it should do.
I just don't think that executing him is the right thing to do. The right thing to do would be to commute his sentence.